What's going on, guys? Got a couple of tips and tricks for you, whether you've been welding for a couple of days, a couple of years, or even if you're a certified welder. A couple of things here that I think can really help just about anybody. And the first thing I'll say, which should probably go without saying, is if you can't see what you're working on or what you're welding, you're just not going to be as good of a welder as those who can see. And there's a couple of things here that you can add to your setup that I think can dramatically improve your visibility and what you're able to see. But it can also increase your measure of safety while welding as well. So we're going to jump right into it. I'll try not to drag this out too long. But first thing is having a secondary light source. Oftentimes we're welding under frames or inside of something. Maybe we're in a poorly lit area or a poorly lit shop. And it's just really not easy to see, where you're getting started, especially with your hood down. Having a secondary light source can really improve your visibility. And what I like to do is go to my nearest big box store, get a couple of these cheap headlamps. I got this one at Menards for less than $5. Buy a couple of them. They do get slag in them. They get scraped up, beat up, dropped, broken. They stop working. But the nice thing is they're cheap, they're inexpensive, they're disposable. And they're easy to attach just with some hot glue. Put a little dab of glue on there, stick it on there, and you'll be good to go for some time. If you do ever need to take it off or replace it, it's easy to remove and to clean that glue up. And even if you have a couple of the same brand, you could probably even just leave that base plate on there, unclip this from that, put your new one in place, and be good to go. But again, they're very inexpensive, but at the same time, they're very bright. This has a very bright and efficient LED. It's got a couple of brightness settings. A couple of additional settings you're not going to use, but those are easy to click past. And they take just some standard AAA batteries that are still easy to access and change as needed. And this one in particular has a hinge on it, so you can adjust the angle or direction of your light to line up just with your line of sight to see exactly where you need to see with what you're working on or welding. And the nice thing is they're very bright, but they will not interfere with your auto darkening sensor unless you're shining right directly back into that. It's going to dramatically improve your visibility, your work area, and what you're working on, and really make a world of difference with what you're able to see, not only before you get started, but even after striking that arc and kicking your darkening sensor on. This still helps with your visibility quite a bit, even despite the brightness of that arc. So can't recommend that enough. It doesn't have to be a fancy one or an expensive one. Any big box store should have these, $5 or less. Check out the bargain bin, the dollar bin, the clearance bin. Grab a couple at a time, keep one on your cart, keep a spare in your locker. If you need to change one out, if it breaks or gets dirty, you can do so, and it's a really good upgrade. Now, I like putting it on the front of my helmet. I think it's a little bit easier to access and adjust while still being out of the way for the most part. I've also had them on top of my helmet. They work there as well. But over the years, I've learned to prefer the front of my helmet here, as I think it's a little bit more manageable. So that's the first tip. Second tip is this back shroud right here. And this may look a little bit goofy to some, but the benefits far outweigh getting made fun of a little bit. And what I have here is just a piece of folded up FR apron. I've cut the straps off and using a sheet metal Cleco clamp, just clamped to the top of my hood there. You can use hot glue for this as well, Velcro or some other means of attachment. But what this does is actually a couple of things for you. For one, it does add an additional layer of protection to the back of your head, neck, back, and shoulders. Not that I wouldn't still put on a welding cap or some other additional protection on top of your head, but this just adds to that. Any stray sparks or slag don't as easily get in behind you and hurt you. But the main reason and the real main benefit of this is that it really cuts down on any additional outside glare or reflection, which can be anything from sunlight to shop lights, or even more dangerously, the UV arc flash can often reflect off of something behind you, get back around your head into this inner lens and reflect back into your eyes, and really do quite a bit of damage before you're able to realize that it's happening, because you're not looking directly at it, but it is still reflecting and getting back into your eyes and causing that UV burn and that damage. So this really eliminates that. And not only that, but it makes the inside of your hood a little bit darker as well. which really does help for clarity for seeing through this lens. Just a little bit of glare from a shop light or an outside light source. Even with my big head inside this helmet, it still gets in there and really decreases your visibility. But with this on there, it eliminates that. It darkens the inside of your hood, makes it easier to see through, but protects not only your skin, but your eyes as well. As far as material, again, I'm using an FR apron. You could use leather, wax canvas, just something obviously that's not going to be flammable or catch a spark or some slag and set your head on fire. But anything like this FR apron, an old FR shirt, some FR pants, cut it up, attach it to the back of your hood, and you'll be good to go. And it really makes a huge difference. Now, last thing I'll recommend and mention is get yourself a good quality hood. There's all kinds of junk out there today, but with the auto darkening technology, it's better than ever, it's cheaper than ever. And you can actually get a really good hood for well under $100, even less than $50. I got this one on Amazon, I want to say for about $45. I'll see if I can find it and link it below. And maybe I'll see if I can find some headlamps and FR aprons for you guys as well. But this one's made by Yes Welder. It's got a clear view lens, or uses clear view technology, which I was absolutely blown away the first time I ever put this on and used it. Just the clarity that you're able to get out of these auto darkening lenses now is unbelievable. Back in the day we had fixed shade that you kind of had to see where you were going before you flipped your hood down. That got a little bit better with auto darkening being introduced. But even then, it's almost like looking through a pair of burning glasses or a dark pair of sunglasses at times. Nowadays, they're clearer than ever, and the auto darkening still kicks in, still works every bit as well, if not better, than what used to be on the market. And I'll see if I could show you guys actually through the viewfinder here. See if maybe I can show you how well this hood works as well. So already you can kind of see that glare I'm talking about. We'll go ahead and flip this down. And it's almost like turning on a light switch. You're much darker inside here, but you could see almost like you're not even looking through the hood at this point. Very clear. See my shirt here, see my face, see my garage door. It's just night and day difference, literally, from what you're able to see through these clear view lenses versus old fixed shade hoods, or even the, more original auto darkening hoods. I would say this is closer to a pair of regular safety glasses than even sunglasses or burning glasses. So still has a variable shade for when your auto darkening kicks in, light to dark. This one is a number 6 to, I believe, a number 12. No, 13. 9 to 13, sorry, reading that wrong. But again, I'll link this below. Less than $50. It does feel a little bit cheap, to be honest, compared to a name brand, more expensive hood. But for hobbyists, even for somebody who's doing this professionally, I would put this up against just about any other helmet as far as clarity and use. It is a really good helmet for the money, and even at twice the price, I think it'd be worth it. But buy yourself a couple, keep a spare on your truck or on your cart in your locker, and these are really good to have around. So that's it, guys. We're going to try to keep this one under 10 minutes. Hopefully those couple of tips really help you out. Try them out. Let me know what you think. If you've got any additional tips or comments, leave them below. I appreciate you guys watching this, and let me know what you think. We'll see you guys.